Why, hello there. Welcome to the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel. My name is Dan C. Bearded, and I am the co-host of the Doctor's Orders live stream. This is the live stream we do every single Tuesday. We're at 110 episodes in a row. Whether there's family members that are sick, whether you are in a different area for work and conference, we make it happen, you guys. I said co-host because I do have someone who is with me, Nick, a.k.a. Master Phelps, a.k.a. the doctor himself. He will be joining us any second now, so stay tuned as he's rushing in, doing, I think, a remote lobby type situation today, which is always fun. You guys know I have a lot of experience with that. Just keep Mountain Dew away from the computer is my advice, and luckily Nick doesn't drink that, so he'll be okay. So question for you guys that are in the chat nice and early. Appreciate you guys being here. What are you up to right now? Are you at work? Are you on break? Are you at home? Are you at the gym? Are you driving and listening podcast style and responding in an appropriate, safe way? Let us know where we are at. And yeah, I love the weather season references. I get it from SoCal. That's not my most common one. I always get it from Florida. Florida's like seasons. We have two seasons, summer and hot summer, and then like Arizona and stuff like that. So I get it. I get it for sure. Today's topic is fall, aka the beard season. And regardless if the weather changes around you, and Leo's being playful there, I know, but regardless if the weather changes around you, it does impact the beard world, the beard industry, this channel. And so we're going to talk all about that stuff, you guys. And I want to hear what is going on. We got out there. We have Amber's working. She's not too happy about it. Mr. Kejun is working. Jill is at work eating a quick, light lunch. There we go. All right. What else? What else are you guys doing? Dennis is driving to get lunch and then back to the bicycle shop. Awesome. All right. Hello, Julie. And again, guys, just put the question out there. What are you guys up to? Lunch break, relaxing? Are you working currently? Are you on a run? Let us know at work on a short break. Nice. I'm glad that we could be that little kind of like coffee short break for you guys. And yeah, Michigan's nice and cold. Officially today, taking the boys to school, we had our first remote start of this season. I can't say the year because winter goes back in January and February, of course, but of this new season. In the last, 6 months, the first time we needed to do the remote start to get the heat going and the engine warmed up. Do you guys know that's actually good for the vehicle? It's not just something that is like, oh man, it's for my comfort and the seats and the defrost, which you do need to defrost, right? That's dangerous, but it's good for the vehicle. I know very, very little about vehicles, but that is one thing that I was told by someone I trust that knows a lot about vehicles. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right. And yeah, let's see what else we have going on there. Working hard at hardly working. Nice. nice. JB's work from home prep. Yeah. And hey, guys, for real, make sure if you're in the path of this hurricane, you're being smart, you're being safe, all of that stuff. Again, I always want to preface it saying I've never lived in Florida. I'm not a hurricane expert. However, this one does look kind of nasty. They are saying it went from a tropical storm to a category 5 in less than 24 hours. One more time. It went from a tropical storm to a category 5 in less than 24 hours. It has one of the smallest eyes of a hurricane. It's like less than 4 miles wide. And they have the prediction that it could reach the mathematical limit of a hurricane's potential on planet Earth, giving our atmosphere. That's crazy. Again, I know I repeat it. I'm going to do one more time here. They believe this could be the first ever hurricane to reach the mathematical limits of hurricanes given our atmosphere on planet Earth. They would consider it the first ever category 6. And so just stay safe, you guys. The thing looks massive. It looks aggressive, and got a dapper man in the back. Once Nick gives me the thumbs up, we'll bring this dude. He gave me 2. That means he's extra ready. All right, guys and girls, we'll talk a little bit more hurricane and stuff in a little bit, and I want to hear from people like JB and anybody else that's like on the path of this, but also that has experiences, because I don't know much about that world, and I would like to kind of learn and hear your thoughts on it and why you stay. And because I'm sick of the lazy rhetoric of, oh, if I'm in Florida, I get out and go. Well, traffic, gas stations, like, or there's so many things involved in that. So I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. And then I saw Leo said, I've only been to Michigan to visit a friend in summertime. Love the weather and what I got to see of the city. I love Michigan. You've never really heard me complain about Michigan. I know it's like the fun, bonding, sexy thing to complain about where you live. I love Michigan. Absolutely love it. All right. With that said, we will continue the convo with the additions of a brilliantly gorgeous man. I was going to say brilliant, and I was like, let me go a little bit further. Brilliantly gorgeous. So let's go. Never called a man brilliantly gorgeous. So please welcome the co-host, the owner, the doctor himself, and he is remote, guys. So patience if there's any kind of like, lag or audio, we'll get it all figured out. It's all good here. If not, hey, I can keep talking. Here we go. Mr. Nick. Dun, dun, dun. All right.
Ooh, let me those FaceTime.
All right, we're coming in. Sometimes it takes a second to settle. All right, your robot on us so far, Nick. If it's the hotel Wi-Fi, maybe try cell. That's what I usually have to do. Those hotel Wi-Fis can be something special. I can't hear you fully yet. It's robotic. All right. He's going to figure it out. He's a tech guy. He knows this stuff. He'll get it going here. All right. But guys and girls out there, Florida, thoughts, experiences. I have a buddy who works for the Columbus Crew. He drove because his family's in Tampa and they are getting ready to try and move to Columbus, but they haven't sold their house yet. He drove last night from Columbus down to Tampa because it's so scary, and his family's down there. I get it. Yeah, I entirely get it. And so I don't know what that's like, man. For me, we have a tornado here. We go extra safe. We wake the kids up in the middle of the night. We go down to the basement. We make any adjustments we need to. But this hurricane, let me see if I can pull up a thing real quick. All right, let me see on this bad boy. Because this is where it really starts to get kind of scary, and it really starts to show just what is going on here. So this was the graphic that really kind of caught me off guard with this current hurricane. Now, this was just, I have the graphic from Reddit, but I've seen this on multiple places. And I've seen multiple news people, weathermen, anchormen, the people that understand this stuff, right? That have been emotional on air when they've been talking about it. Emotional. So here's one guy who has a lot of experience. I forget his accolades, but I looked into it, and he said, this is nothing short of astronomical. I'm at a loss for words to describe the storm's small eye and intensity. He said, with 180 mile per hour max sustained winds, not gust, you guys, 180 mile per hour max sustained winds, gust of over 200 already. It's the fourth strongest hurricane on this side of the world. And they believe that this could have the mathematical limit of what we can produce. There's not many things that make me pause. There's not many things that make me think, oh, okay, like, whoa, that's one of them. That's pretty terrifying. Yep, it's pretty terrifying. And so, all right, JB says, I personally just plan a few days, minimal needs, prep structures, and hang out. I never leave, then just quick assessment after, and I go to work helping others and whatnot. I love that. So, JB, do you board your windows, or what is the prep like? I know there's a lot of us that have not experienced this that would love to kind of learn about it and at least understand what you go through. Leo says, Florida is 500 miles long. When I ask friends and relatives there how they are affected, I hear either no problems or their car was covered or over the hood. Okay, covered too or over the hood. Yeah. It is interesting, right? When you think about the area and how it moves, and I've heard that from friends that live in Florida. They're like, we hear about the worst of the worst all the time. We get so prepared, and then it changes course. Or it goes this way, but then you see things like Fort Myers a couple of years ago, things like North Carolina. And we just, in Michigan, other than tornadoes, we just don't have extreme weather like this. It's not something that is like understandable or relatable. So it really is interesting for me to hear JB here say, I personally just plan for a few days, minimal needs. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to be going out to Taco Bell. I'm not going to be going out to these different things. I got to make sure I have my minimal needs, prep structures, and just hang out through the storm. I never leave. Then just a quick assessment after and get to work. Okay. Yeah. That's a confident, prepared man right there. And I do have to show real quick, if you guys want to get an actual visualization of Mr. JB, this is the first place champion of the Go Bearded beard competition in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I got to meet this man. I got to hang out with this man. This mustache is even more legendary than the beard, which is already its own legend. The dude is so cool, so kind, and just like a great bro, just a hangout dude. If we were closer, it would be like ultimate best friends all the time. And so, yeah, that's me and JB. If you guys, I love being able to show off friends from the chat. And the cool thing is how many people just in here right now I've been able to meet, right? I've met JB, I've met Jacob, I've met Jim, I've met Michael, I've met Dennis, I've met Jillian. I feel like I'm going to meet Leo at some point. I'm going to meet Randy because we live in the same beautiful state. I've met Steven. I've videoed with Amber on a consultation. I feel like I've met Dynamite. I've talked to Robert forever. Julie's like my second mom. So it is pretty cool to see how these things kind of come to life. It's really cool. And yeah, absolutely met Jill. Yep. I've met John. And so I've met so many people that are in this chat, and that's how dang cool this is. And JB says, such an amazing time at the comp. Now, you guys have heard me and Nick talk about beard competitions, and I met Bruce City. You've heard me and Nick talk about competitions before and how fun they are and how welcoming they are and how good the vibes are. I really hope that you all get to go to a beard competition, especially a good one. And you see that right there. Such an amazing time at the beard comp. It really is. I'm still kind of riding a natural high from it. It's just fun. It's just really, really fun. Okay. It looks like we got Nick figured out here. But then one last thing. Board windows if you don't have shutters or impact glass. Interesting. Basic needs like water, non-perishable food, gas, flashlights, fill tubs, and containers for water for non-drinking needs. Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, stay safe. I'll show that bad boy again once we get Nick on here. It looks like a scary one. Yeah, I'll just be honest. It does look like a scary one. All right, let's go ahead and get and Amber says, that is crazy. Who would have thought after our call, I feel like we have. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go ahead and check this one out. Oh, yeah, that's moving well there.
Hey,
Nick?
there we go. How's it going?
What was the
hey,
trick,
guys.
my friend? What was the trick?
Joining a different Wi-Fi.
Ah, gotcha. Well, dude, that's the coolest background I've ever seen in live stream history.
Well, I'm thinking I'm just going to live stream from here from now on. I'm just going to bring in my own, access point so I have better wireless.
And that's like water behind you going?
It is. Yeah. It's like a little one of those little kind of textured walls. It's got water trickling down. Very peaceful.
Really cool. Really cool.
Granted, I had to turn on background noise reduction because of said waterfall behind me, but it's okay.
It sounds perfect. You can't hear anything other than you. So sounds good, looks good. Let the people know where you at, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, guys. So this is pretty cool. I'm down here. I'm supposed to be here 2 days. Someone had to cover for me yesterday, little scheduling issue, and I'm down here today in Newport, Rhode Island, at an event called Cloudscape 2024. It's put on by a company called Blue Mantis. They're one of my big partners on the cybersecurity side of things. So this is like their yearly kind of big event. I've been here every year with them for about 14 years now. Well, I guess 12 years. Yeah. 12 years in a row, not missing one. So I used to work for this company back when they were called something else way back in the day. But the day I left, they became my biggest partner and kind of have been ever since. And so their events are awesome. They basically have all their sales reps bring in like their top 2 or 3 accounts, and they fly them in from all over the country, all over the world.
Wow.
And the company basically pays to bring, say your customer is General Electric, and you deal with a guy there at General Electric. It's like your contact there. You'll fly him, his family, all out to Newport, Rhode Island. They put you up in a hotel spa here at the Marriott Newport, Rhode Island in the Bay. They cover all your meals, transportation, entertainment, airfare, hotels, and they fly them all in. There's, I think about, let's see, I think there's 300 customers here,
Oh,
300
wow.
top accounts. So you figure, 300 people times whole families worth of airfare and
Whoa.
hotel rooms and meals and transport and everything. So they
Whoa.
go all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they go real. Yeah, they do a great job. I mean, it's awesome. So I'll be here for the rest of the day, and here for their kind of wrap up lobster bake and stuff this evening, and just being a walking, talking, bearded distraction like I usually am.
Nice, nice. Now,
Part of the course.
how's the travel for you for that?
It's not bad. It's like an hour and a half.
Oh, nothing. Easy.
No, it's not bad at all. It's like their main office is up in Portsmouth. That's like an hour and a half, and then they do their events down here. That's an hour and a half, just different direction.
Perfect. Perfect.
No, but it'll be good, man. It'll be good to see everybody, and it's kind of like family. I've worked with some of these guys for, like I say, like 12, 13 years,
Yeah.
and some of them have worked here for 25, 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just sounds like an absolute fun event, and I'm sure there's some good food flowing, and just the vibes are awesome.
Oh yeah, food, drinks, good company, good conversation.
So
I'm in a public place, so if you see me look away about every 15 seconds and wave and point, it's so people know not to come over and sit right next to me. And
yeah, I know that feeling. Now this is a lot of people you probably haven't seen in a year or so, and you have a year of beard growth under you. Are there any common comments or things that have stood out to you about the beard in this situation? Like, we've talked about taking pride in going to like serious business situations, not wearing a tie, having a huge beard, being really the only large bearded ones around. Any comments, feels, thoughts? What's your experience for those that are like, oh my gosh, Nick, that's so interesting?
It used to really get me. Like I used to get super nervous about when I first started growing a beard, when it got too long, I'm like, oh God, is it like too long to be professional and that kind of thing? And so, I mean, I used to worry about that. And now until someone mentions it, I actually don't even think about it. I mean, it's the reason I don't have to wear a tie, because you wouldn't be able to see it.
Right.
So I get the benefit of basically, what's up, buddy? I get the benefit of wearing a t-shirt, not tucked into jeans,
Yep.
a pair of sneakers, and throwing a sport coat. And basically it's the look I go for, whether I'm on stage presenting, whether I'm going out to dinner meetings, whatever it might be. But I mean, you just listen, guys, t-shirt here. There's nothing, even once in a while I'll wear like a concert t-shirt under it, just like for fun, because no one will know it's there but me.
Amazing.
And it'll just be like, I'm wearing a death metal t-shirt under this, and I got 5,000 people in an audience in front of me. This is hilarious.
Amazing.
And it's not a death metal show. But yeah, it's so I think, the most common comment that I get from people is, holy crap, look at that thing. Or, whoa, your beard got long. And my response is usually something like, yeah, it does that if you don't cut it. Or, something to that effect. Or people say, wow, your beard got long. I'm like, I know, I keep trying. I cut it off every night. It just grows back in every morning like this. And so, I usually just make a joke out of it. It's like, and people are, and then if they continue to go on, because some people, as you know, there'll be 8 people standing around, and one of them wants to talk about nothing else but your beard in front of these other 8 people that are not interested in your facial hair. And so usually by like second or third comment, I'll be like, okay, don't give it an ego. It's already enough work. Like, don't give it it doesn't need any more positive reinforcement. It gets plenty.
That's great. Yeah.
All right.
Couple questions for you here. Leo wants to know, is it a show and training all together?
Yeah. So there's breakouts. There's breakout sessions that basically kind of throughout the hotel. they basically rent out the whole damn hotel. I mean, it's like 3 stories of like, small conference rooms,
Yeah.
and there's like a main stage kind of keynote conference room. So what they're doing is this kind of a mix of basically, from a training standpoint, it's customers, right? It's a sales event. So you don't get too technical, but you talk about new offerings, new services. They talk about their new products. 3 of their new offerings are based on technologies that I've built. So they like having me here for that. So on those, it's training.
Okay.
So those are like technical breakout sessions. So if there's a technical person here plus like his manager will go to the AI and cloud computing 2025 futures presentation, and the other guy will go to the how do you dissect network traffic and find bad guys, and I'll be leading that one.
That's
And so
cool.
yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of training, mostly just kind of like social networking, constant contact kind of thing, FaceTime with people that you only work with remotely all year,
That makes sense. Awesome.
because
And
they only have like one main sales office, and it's in New Hampshire. So, and their customer base is nationwide. So it's a lot of these guys don't get much time with their customers. So it's good to just stay in front of people, and pretty light on the technical detail though. We try to keep it light and fluffy.
yeah, more about the vibes and the feel and the connections. That makes a lot of sense.
Good old fashioned schmoozing.
Yes. And Jim wants to know, have you ever made it to Newport Brewing or Coddington in Middletown during your travels?
I have. Uh, I actually just drove through Middletown, and I think I passed right by Newport Brewing. Well, their new spots. I think they have a new one, right? They moved a couple years ago. But I was just on Coddington Road coming into Newport here, so all right here in the area. I will admit, usually when I'm down here, I'm like rushing down here to make it to like be on
Right.
stage, and then when I'm leaving, I'm like, oh my god, get me home. I want to go to bed.
Yep. Yep.
So I don't make too many detours down here.
Yeah, that was kind of like me. I this weekend I flew down to Baton Rouge. Well, I flew to New Orleans, drove to Baton Rouge, did the beard competition. Then first thing the next day, drove back, flew home, and it was like, could have I did a little bit more in Louisiana and Baton Rouge and New Orleans? It's like, yes, but when you do that stuff and you've done it a bunch, you just sometimes you just want to get back home. Like that's it. You just want to
You
go.
just don't want to sometimes. Like I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care how cool of a thing or a place or whatever it might be. Once I get that itch of like I'm done and I want to
Yep.
go home, there is no getting off the highway for me. It's like in the car, on the highway, get out in the driveway, and that's it.
Yeah. Funny story. I was coming home and I was like not hungry, but it was probably 10 o'clock at night. I had not eaten since noon. And I was like, I better go. I'm going to regret if I don't eat something, I just know I'm just want to get home, a little homesick. And I pulled into Taco Bell. And as I'm it's like 11 o'clock at night. Like I said, 10, 11 o'clock, nobody's on the road. And I pull in one of those like curved roads into the parking
Yeah.
lot. And then I realized the arrow's coming out. Whatever. There's nobody within 10 miles of me. No big deal. I look in the glass window of like the entryway, and one of the worker ladies is throwing a hissy fit with her hands. She's like, I was like, all right, no business for you. Boom. And I just left and went home. I was like, nope, never mind. Get out of here. Like, why do you care?
I mean, is she like the one person at that gas station making like $250K a year to give that many craps about what way someone's driving in a driveway?
Right. She really needs to take it on personally. Really
Like
needs
they,
to.
they're paying that lady $250,000 a year. Be like, listen, anyone comes down that driveway though,
Right.
back to the
Right.
poorhouse with you.
Hey, and last night, Command's Corner, my rant of Mondays was airport etiquette. And I know you can relate to so much because I had 3 flights over the weekend, and there were some doozies. I had bare feet. I had people playing their phone over their speaker rather than headphones. I had people trying to, when we just stop and the seatbelts come off, come all the way up the line and like going by me as I'm trying to stand. I said I was Luda. I threw some bows. I said no.
You'll get
I'm here.
you'll get a roll on right in front of you if that's the case.
Nope. So I had a whole bunch of stuff I went off on, and it's just like it was so interesting to think about the etiquette. And you sparked it even with like the chair thing, and I'm like, how can you do all of these things but do it in a better way? And like people coming up the aisle, I was like, just simply ask, just simply say like, hey, my connecting flight is very short time. Do you mind? Sure, absolutely, go ahead.
Mind if I sneak by you?
Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah. And when someone does that, I'll help them get to the damn front of the line. Like, I'll tap the person in front of me and be like, "Hey, hold, this guy's coming through real quick."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but if you just all of a sudden elbows in the side with your headphones on, staring forward, just push past me, I'm gonna not move.
Yep. Nope. 100%. And
They're
on
gonna.
that trip, I don't know if you caught the picture here, but our guy, look at this beard on Mr. JB in the chat.
Oh man, look at that dude, huh?
Woo! And that's
Killing it.
yep, that's
Love
our
that.
dude right here, man. And he was look at the stash. He killed it. He won his
Loving it, man.
category. And
Right
he was
on, dude.
yeah, he was in your national champion category, actually.
18 to 24, it looks like, right? He's somewhere in that, right?
I think he was 12 to JB, what were you in? Yeah, because
Or
I
like
was
12
at,
to 18
yeah,
and up. Was it like an 18 and up kind of thing? Or was it like 18 to 24 and then 24 up?
I don't remember. Oh man, yeah, real CEO. I saw last night. I've seen people doing their toenails on the plane.
No.
It was the
Oh,
same
come on.
lady that had her phone on speaker, and it was in a different language too. So I don't even know what it was saying.
You know what though? In a way, like although I like that behavior is like deplorable on an airplane. Let's just be honest. But there is a piece of me that's a little jealous over how little they care about what other people think about them. Like
Zero care.
she has to be literally the least self-conscious person in the entire world. Like,
Yep, no care. I mean, the people around us were like tapping each other and looking. It's just crazy.
someone like filming it,
Yeah,
got video going.
I almost took a picture. Then I was like, let me be a good person. Let me be a good person, not taking a picture. But JB was okay. So yeah, this was a smaller comp. So it was the 12 plus inch category.
12 plus. Nice.
Yep,
Dude,
so
looking good, dude. I love that gray down the middle. I'm like really hoping that the couple little gray ones that I have coming in do that down the middle before I go all the way white, like typical orange beard.
there you go. And then I don't know how much you heard of me talking about this, but I want to get because you were a Florida boy for years, right?
Oh yeah.
So this hurricane went from a tropical storm to a category 5 to the 4th most powerful hurricane overnight in 24 hours. And it's growing. The eye keeps shrinking and everything else keeps getting more intense. And they believe, and this is what it says right here, that this hurricane is nearing the mathematical limit of what Earth's atmosphere over this ocean water can produce.
Yep.
As a Florida man, what do you
dude,
thoughts?
it's insane. I mean, this is a nasty one. Whenever you see, so this one set a couple of records, but the record that's most interesting to me is the speed in which it intensified. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think any other hurricane has ever jumped from a tropical storm to that level of Category 4 hurricane that fast.
Right.
And when the eye shrinks while it's doing that, that's bad news bears. Like if the outside shoulders of this hurricane are still accumulating while that eye is still shrinking, like, when you got a slingshot and you pull it back and then you get to a point where like you feel the back of that stretch of the slingshot, that's what this hurricane's doing right now. And unfortunately, it's still recoiling. Like it's not even okay, shoot it. It's still pulling back. So this thing's still coiling up like a snake, just getting ready to pummel Florida.
Right. And let me hit you with this on that note and the intensity and the changes.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go over with you guys very quickly here the entire list of category 5 hurricanes that have reached land in the United States back to 1935.
Well, that's an important one right there. Don't skip past that one. Go back up there for a second.
Hit me.
The 1935 one, that was the last time that a hurricane made landfall at in Tampa Bay. So I believe it was the 35. Maybe it was in the 20s. I forget. Maybe it wasn't one of these stronger. It was like 25 or 35. And the crazy part about it is that it right there, representatively according to national. Yeah. So the crazy part about that is they say there's a reason for that. We'll go into that in a minute. Let's go through this list. But why hasn't Tampa been hit by a hurricane? They always make a turn. They always go right at it. And then they go and hit Big Bend like this last one, or they go up and they hit the Panhandle.
Yeah.
There's some people who claim they know why.
69, 1992, 2018, and that's it.
Dude, I mean,
that's it.
That's it. This is a record breaking. Like this is going to be on a list of something that happens only every 50 years.
Yeah, that's the list. In the math, Leo, I looked into it, had to do with the pressure, the sustained wind speed, and the the maximum gust. But I think what they're saying with the absolute mathematical production, they took into account the temperatures, they took into account the pressure and the temperature were the two things that have to come together for this to be at a certain size, and they're almost there. It's almost at the absolute limit. And like again, that was the entire list, and they do believe that this will be a category 5,
Yeah,
maybe the strongest ever as it reaches land.
dude, it's gonna be insane. So I just looked it up. The last one to hit Tampa was 1921, and
Wow.
yeah, isn't that crazy? And they're always coming right at it. Like
It's
it's
like
always like, oh,
Switzerland.
coming right for us. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it always looks like it. And people claim that it's because of these Indian grave sites they're called Indian stacks. Well, I guess now you'd refer to them as Native American stacks. But it's they're off the coast, and supposedly there is like a Native American blessing on that part of the land, and it literally not one of them has stayed on course in 100 years.
That's interesting. And yeah, there's a lot of folklore with it right here. So
Oh yeah,
hurricane free since 1921. And
yeah.
this was about those, it's actually about that like Native American, the stacks that you have that you're saying, they're saying it's blessing Tampa.
Yeah, yeah, they say that it's basically protecting Tampa Bay, because it would be so catastrophic if a hurricane ever came up through Tampa Bay. I mean, the last time I think in the first 24 hours, like 500 people died, just in that little area in Hillsborough County. So I mean, it's nasty, but
That is
who
crazy.
knows?
Yeah, Camp Fort Myers, right? You guys have had enough lately. Jeez Louise.
Oh, dude, I mean, someone ran over a gypsy in that town and did not collect the tears. That's
They
clearly
forgot that pivotal point. So
a tear
uh
jar. You always need it in your glove box.
so stay safe, Florida. Like I said, you guys don't need any advice from me. You know way more than I do about this kind of situation, but I know you guys are a
Where do the
tough
maps
breed.
have it hitting?
I don't know. Can anybody let us know the new projected ones? Last I saw, it was kind of too far out. It was literally covering all of Florida, and they didn't have any kind of concept. If you see new map,
Oh yeah. Oh boy. I
yeah,
mean, this one looks like it's heading right for it. It looks like it's going right toward
right at
Tampa.
Tampa, right?
It's going to try.
It's
So
gonna
my
try.
business partner is right north of Tampa, probably like 3/4 of the way up in the red line on the coast that you see, like right north of Tampa. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's Wednesday at 8.
Okay,
The hell's this thing going to be doing on Friday?
so we're
Dear
looking.
goodness.
Okay,
See, the chart that I just looked at was a little different. USA Today. It showed don't believe anything from New York. Let's see here. Yeah, this one. Oh, this was 2 hours ago. USA Today shows like, what is it? Yes, for Wednesday night looks like the night that we're gonna figure out what this thing's doing. Let's just
okay.
hope it doesn't make another turn toward the north, man. I mean, a hurricane like this coming into Louisiana, can you imagine?
Yeah, or yeah, the super populated areas or the areas that aren't used to these, and yeah,
Man,
that,
it's crazy.
all right.
Meanwhile, I got my buddy Ron down in Pinellas and right south of Tampa. And he just went to the fireworks store today because he likes shooting off mortars into the hurricanes from his driveway. So
Amazing.
then you have Ron Harris. You know,
If
he's a true. If you only did
just
Florida Man Monday, but just based on Ron, like you could literally have a month worth of content, and you wouldn't be able to take anything from previous of 30 days.
you
And he would just stalk you up for a year. The first time I went to Ron's house, he was a coworker of mine in Florida, and we ended up making friends. And he tells you come over to his house one weekend. So I come over and I'm looking for the address. I got my GPS, and I pull up in front of the house, and I see this black plume of smoke coming out from behind the house, and it's like a tightly packed residential neighborhood, like chain link fences, small yards, you know. And I go in and I walk around back. There's Ron, the guy that I had only seen in a dress shirt because we worked together, shirtless, camo pants, standing around a 50-gallon drum with a hose in his hand. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, oh man, they give you an extra like 20% down at the scrapyard. You burn all this rubber on the outside of these cables before you take them down. I just soak them in gas and burn them here for a little bit. So that's his Saturday. He just stands in his backyard and burns rubber off of copper cables so he can take it to the recycling yard. So there he is, shirtless, barefoot, black plume of smoke,
Just
and
great for
garden
the
hose.
environment.
Oh yeah. I'm like, he has his own personal hole in the ozone, like right above him. Like Poison's tour bus with hairspray had like nothing on this guy from like a CFC's perspective.
Wow. Yeah, you beat me to it. We have the same brain. I was going to say, if Ron has video and would sign a disclosure, have him send you some content and he will be my Florida man Monday.
I'm going to text him right after this.
Mortars.
I'm going to be like, set up the GoPro, dude. We want to see.
Mortars into a storm. We can be like live correspondents, like, hey, we have our live Florida man, Ron, checking in this week, and he is shooting mortars into the hurricane.
Yeah. He says that, it's getting really bad whenever, like, within 6 feet off the ground, they change course and blow off when the wind.
I didn't even think about the wind. Wow. How did I not? Wow. Yeah. Dude, that's so crazy. That's so Florida.
It's so Florida, dude.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
no one. Well, there's only one person I know more Florida than Ron, and that's my buddy Cracker Nasty. And Cracker Nasty is the Florida-est Florida person you'll ever meet in your entire life.
Cracker Nasty.
Yeah, and his best friend's name is Pizza Spaghetti. So because his name is Peter Spanganetti. So you got Cracker Nasty and Pizza Spaghetti. And I mean, those two guys, they both live in Gibsonton, Florida, which is where if you have carnival rides that you own, you can park them tax-free in Gibsonton. So that town has the highest concentration of carnies of any other town in the United States. And Cracker Nasty and Pizza Spaghetti both live in Gibsonton.
Dude, so Sam is a processor. Like when we talk about information, she needs time to process. I'm not. You know me. I'm bang, bang, bang. I need to process this. Okay. You can
You can fact check this. I'm not blowing smoke at all here.
Oh my gosh. The carnival rides can be parked for free.
Mm-hmm.
It is the largest concentration of carnies.
It's where Lobster Boy's from.
And his name is Cracker John?
Cracker Nasty.
Oh yeah, sorry. Excuse me. I apologize to all the Johns out there. Cracker Nasty.
Oh, I know your brain right now is on in overload, trying to process in real time. It's not going to be able to. We'll pick that back up, but that's what we should do. We should get Cracker Nasty on a stream.
Oh my! Yeah, or get him on Theo Von's stream. He needs,
and he's proud of it. And the funny part about it is he's an intercontinental fleet captain of large oil tankers and container ships, and he is the helm captain at the bridge. That is Cracker Nasty.
Hey, Cracker Nasty, we've got a wicked storm coming in. We might need to reverse route. Shoot some mortars at it.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Ron.
almost been run over by an oil tanker in a small boat with Cracker Nasty before. I've been the unwilling hood ornament of a golf cart riding around Gibsonton at 2:00 in the morning with Cracker Nasty. There's been a lot of things.
Cracker Nasty. Oh my God. Any Given Sunday is Theo Von's podcast, Wild People. He just interviews like the most interesting like walks of life. Cracker Nasty needs to happen. Wow.
Dude, I'm telling you. So if you want one more Cracker Nasty story, okay, we're going off topic, but that's fine. We just got to do it. We're talking about Florida and hurricanes, so here we are.
That's what we do.
Everyone's going to love this one. Everyone talks about Florida and guns, right? So first of all, it's probably the first year I knew Kerry. I only known his name was his real name's Kerry Hennessy, but everyone knows him as Cracker Nasty. So I had just learned that his name was Kerry when he invited me down to down to the Keys with him one weekend. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we're going down, we're getting ready, packing up, getting ready to go down, and we're going to drive down to Marathon down in the Keys. And so he's like, I'm like, so what kind of stuff do we need to bring for like sleeping arrangements? He's like, it's nothing special, man. It's a trailer next to a river, but I mean, there's plenty of places for people to sleep. You go party. So I said, okay. My car breaks down 4 miles from my house. It starts running like crap. So I call him up I'm like, hey man, you got your Expedition at your house? I can go park my car there and grab your Expedition and drive it down with all our stuff in it because my car's crapping out on me. So he says, sure. And so I go to his house, he gives me the code, and he's like, one thing you're going to want to do, there might be some guns in the truck. You're going to want to just check around, take them out and just leave them on my couch. And I said, okay. So I go, he's like, there's definitely one under the driver's seat, glove box, center console. Just go check all the normal spots. And I was like, all right. So of course, 45 under the seat. We got another handgun in the center console. We got two more revolvers in the glove box, and then under the back seat. By this time, I'm like, okay, now I got to search this whole damn thing. So I'm like, I look under the back seat, shotgun in the back, two rifles, and then underneath the back seat going into the front seat was another case, and it was a heavily modified AR-15. This is all in an unlocked vehicle in Gibsonton, Florida, just in his driveway. And so I'm walking into his house, and I literally have like an arm full of just handguns and rifles. And I like leave it on his couch. I'm like, dude, are you sure this is okay? Like, just leave it here. He's like, yeah, my roommate knows not to touch them. You're fine. Come on down. So that was my first intro. And then, of course, we get there, and this is when I know that Cracker Nasty's actually full of shit, because we get down there, and it's a 3-story house with a yacht out back on an inlet on a canal on Marathon Island.
What?
And, $2 million place with a guest house next to it that, it was all set up for us and everything. And I was like, it was a trailer, and I'd be sleeping on like office carpet on the floor. He's like, yeah, it's just messing with it. I was seeing if he'd still come down.
That's Cracker Nasty's place?
Yeah.
Stop it. Wow.
Yeah, they own like a whole huge series of freshwater tropical fish farms. That's what he grew up doing. And so like that's where we used to go shooting and mudding and stuff out on his old fish farm. So his parents are loaded. And he just grew up Cracker Nasty.
Jim is so right.
What's
We're
he
gonna
saying?
have a forever spot on the roulette wheel for Cracker Nasty stories.
Perfect. I literally have a backpack full of them. So like anytime we need Cracker Nasty stories, we have plenty of them.
Wow.
Ready to roll.
Chat, note that anytime it's like, hey, we need the vibes shifted, which is rare here, but let's say we get on some sad news or something, just literally call out Cracker Nasty and we got
Cracker Nasty. Just throw it in there. If we need like a good topic change, like it gets too heavy, we'll just like if someone can just throw out the Cracker Nasty flair.
Yep. And then we will save the day with a Cracker Nasty. I have no interest in being a one-upper guy, but in this case, I wouldn't even have a chance. I wouldn't even have a world chance of topping Cracker Nasty.
Dude, I hold him in my pocket because I feel like all of his stories are story topper stories. Like someone's like, my buddy in Florida did a blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm just not going to tell the story about Cracker Nasty doing that because it was
I start talking about Ron and being like, hey, my buddy's buddy burns rubber with gasoline in a heavily like populated area. And you're like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Cracker
Hold
Nasty
my
time.
beer. I got this. I mean, I think the story topper of all story toppers of him, though, it's a short one, has got to be Bottle Rocket Nightmare. And so this is at one of the fish farms. A lot of these old farms are abandoned. So they're just big empty pits that used to be, retention ponds.
Oh, wow.
And so we'll use a big front loader and we grab a bunch of dead trees and we just drop them in these giant 50-foot wide pits. And it's like the world's largest bonfire. You can see them from 10 miles away. And the flames go way too high. And so one day we're standing around, there's like 20 cars parked around this big hole in the ground and everyone's drinking beers, playing music, having fun. And all of a sudden, Carrie comes running out from this structure that was over on the side a little ways away. And he's just screaming at the top of his lungs, Bottle Rocket Nightmare. And you see him run by the fire and he dumps an armful of stuff into the fire and keeps running. And all of a sudden, man, it's just bottle rockets everywhere, like hitting cars, going up in the air, shooting over sideways. And he's just laughing his ass off, sitting inside his tractor.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that is.
So this is Nick's mom.
Yeah.
For anybody
Yep. She got to shoot her first AR-15 down there. I got a video of her doing it. It's great.
Hey, what's Cracker Nasty's dad's name? Bob.
Well, so funny part is he went by Master Hennessy for a long time. But no, just John Hennessy.
Wow. Even that, like, of course his name's Hennessy.
Yeah, his last name's Hennessy. You can't make this stuff up. Like you could sit there and try and like any one of his Thursday stories would still top it. Like,
right.
Pick a Thursday. What happened out in front of Hungry Howie's? Oh yeah. Oh, it's right there. That's all you need.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna table that one, but that is going to go in the tool
Yeah,
belt
it's coming back.
forever. Holy crap, we just unearthed. You guys, sometimes you might start this stream and be like, Dan doesn't have any method to his madness. He just talks about whatever. Hey, there's a method here, and we just uncovered Cracker Nasty, and it's here to stay forever.
Just on accident. Just why not?
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. I do want to talk to you about the fall, and I do want to talk to you about beard season.
Okay.
So, and if anybody has questions, you
Beard
guys,
season is upon us.
yes, any questions about Dr. Nick's and what's to come this fall? It's been a while since we've done updates or product questions or anything like that. Nick might not have all the answers today, but at least we can get the wheels spinning and think about it. Nick will likely be back in studio next week and have a different setting and thought process here. But if you have questions, today's a really good day. So, Nick, with fall season, with the numbers ticking up, with new beards being introduced to this community and specifically your company, anything in your mind, what should people know is coming for Dr. Nick's, or is it, hey, we're staying course right now and we're building for 2025? Anything you want to share, the platform is yours.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, right, all the things we did that were a shift from like a product perspective or things that we like introduced into a product line throughout 2024 was all kind of getting ready for this, right? It's kind of getting ready for these 3 months. Like Q4 is where it's at. And what we've been trying to do is kind of like introducing new things and letting them kind of spike and then level out. And then hopefully everything sort of elevates as people, start looking around for products to take care of their newly minted beard, or just people looking for different stuff now that they're in a new season and they're focusing on growing. But really, I mean, everything you see us do next year, for example, all spring, summer, that's all stocking up for fall, right? So we're just hoping that we have a good good showing for shower products. Obviously everyone's already a huge fan, but hopefully as new beards come out, the number one complaint I get about growing a beard for Grovember and people shaving it off is it got itchy, and people just focus on the hair. They focus on the hair, I mean, which is logical, right? Hair is growing out of your face. It now itches and didn't before. I must need something for the hair,
Yeah.
And just getting the message about skin oil out there to people, and like getting the message that, the hair starts at your skin and start there. And, the funniest thing is I end up talking to people that have grown short beards every year and then shave them off. And I talk to them and I see them. I'm like, oh, hey, man, you got your fall beards coming in looking good. And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, get some oil on that thing, though. And they're like, it's not long enough yet. Just wrong answer.
Wrong.
Just wrong. Like, if anyone out there is thinking that like they have to get to a certain length to use a beard oil, like if you're using like a super heavy, ultra thick, castor kind of an oil or something like that, maybe you're right. Maybe those people do have something to it where they're staying away from that because they, again, logically figure it might impact the health of their skin, which it will. But if you start with a medium light kind of an oil, especially one that's enriched with skin oils like ours, the right length to start using beard oil is the day you decide to stop shaving.
Yeah.
Is you get that third, fourth, fifth day growth. Put a little bit of that on there in the morning. You're not going to have the irritation, the bumps, the ingrowns. You're not going to have the irritation, the beard drift. It's all going to go away, and it's going to make the experience so much better. But advocating and evangelizing the message of that, like, beard care starts at the skin, and that should start when you start growing your beard. That's an interesting message to get through to people.
Yeah, Jason just crushed it right here. That's like waiting to go to the gym until you're in shape.
Dude, dead on. And people be like, I just need to lose a little bit more fat before I'm comfortable going in the gym. And it's like,
yes.
That's going to be, that's going to be a centripetal circle that they're going in there.
Yes. So go. Yeah. And Michael says he hears it. I hear it all the time. I got an interesting one
I do
for
too.
you. This isn't Cracker Nasty level, but I think she would probably get along with Cracker Nasty. So beard competition. We get in there. I'm helping run it. I'm the head judge. I did a little mic work and all that stuff. And we go in, and there's an event before us. We did it at a brewery. The event before us was actually for shaving, and it was for kids. It was for kids' cancer. Great cause, of course. And people were in there shaving their heads. They brought in sports clips, the ladies at the chain barber
Mm-hmm.
shop, and they shaved people's heads. Then we walk in, and I'm like, I love the cause. Nope, yep, stay here. And it's just wild
You
to
hear
go from,
just flinch.
it's wild to hear going from a shaving event to a beard event. Now, with that said, there were a bunch of the lady barbers, and as we were transitioning, most of them were leaving. There was one that stayed, and I'd be very curious if JB caught who it was, because she came up and immediately just started word vomiting anything and everything she could about hair and beards to like establish herself. And she's like, "You make products?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "You do this?" And I'm like, "No." And then she's like, gave me her whole life story about how, and she was a Caucasian lady, how she went to a black barbershop, but then black barbershop school, then went to a black barbershop and then wouldn't get business. And then she went to a white barbershop and they were racist, so she didn't get business. And then she ended up being at a corporate chain, and it's so much better there. Now, yeah, okay, that goes without saying. We know how that works. But
Whoa.
she starts telling me, and she's like, "Yeah, I just love. I was a scientist before I'm a barber. I was a scientist." You guys read between the lines here.
Did she have all of her teeth? And are we saying you need to read between the teeth here?
Well, I'll tell you a clue in a minute once I came kind of full circle. That wasn't
Because there's a
teeth,
couple different types of scientists that exist down in that part of the world. Like, are we talking clandestine lab, or are we talking like Johnson and Johnson here?
Yeah, she told me she's a scientist. She became a barber later in life, and then
She moved out of her Camry.
And she goes, she was like, "I love educating about beards. I love educating and breaking myths." I'm like, "Me too." I'm like the myth of if you shave, it grows in faster. I said, most guys, they try to grow a beard at 18. They shave, or they stop shaving, and they don't like their beard. They shave every day for 5 years, and then when they're 23, they grow a beard. And they're like, "Wow, it's magic. My beard's better because I shaved." No,
everyone was right.
Right. No, it's because you're 5 years older. And she's like, "Yeah."
Right.
She goes, "But what about trims in growth?" And I was like, "What do you mean?"
Zero impact.
Yeah. She goes, "No, like trims help it grow." And I go, "Oh God." I said,
Sir,
"No, like your hair grows from
there's
the
no
skin."
communication network between the tip of your hair.
Yeah.
And there's like, if you put on like those new neuroscopes where they can see your nerves and brain waves, there's nothing going on from here to here.
Yeah.
Your root is unaware of what's happening with your split ends, for example.
And so at that point I was like, "Oh." And then she went like, she had no clue. She said, "Yeah, she had no clue." And I wasn't going to tell her, I'm not that guy. And that moment it clicked.
Everyone will find out for themselves.
Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, she's crazy." And then she stayed for the event, and lots of people had really nice things to say about me, which just made my weekend. And so I think she kind of figured out. I turn over to the bar, and let me tell you guys, this is with no judgment. I'm not judging other people. I turned to the bar, and I'd only spoken to her like this, right? She had a normal female head haircut and looked kind of normal. When I go to the bar, I don't drink, but she was at the bar, hammered. And I look over there, the entire back of her hair was buzzed. It was all in the front. Party in the front, or business in the front, party in the back. Well, hers was
business in the back, party in the front.
Yeah, hers was like disguise in the front, revealing my personality in the back. It was.
Was she there earlier in the day for the Shave Your Head for Cancer event, maybe?
She was, and decided.
Did she just say...
No. So I went and asked her about...
This was a pre-existing independent choice.
That's what I got to. I was like...
That's where I would have gone immediately. I got to know where I am in this.
I went, "Oh, you shaved it for the event."
If you and I were standing there together, I'd look at you. I'd be like, "Are you going to ask her? Or am I going to ask her?" You're going to ask? Okay, you ask her.
Nick, it didn't cross my mind that it was a possibility. And it wasn't an undercut, guys. I know an undercut. I know those dues. I get that. It was all the way buzzed. It didn't cross my mind. It literally was like a relief. I was like, "Oh, you did it for the event." She goes,
"Got it.
This is my normal hairstyle."
See, you know how we were just talking about how not to compliment someone too heavily on a change in their life? You also got to act not too relieved when you figure out the reason something happened until you know it's the reason that it happened, right? Because you probably were a little too excited to find out, like, "Oh, thank God, I thought you were batshit crazy." No, okay, cool. You did it for the event earlier. Got it.
That's exactly where I was going. And JB goes, "Oh." I did have an interaction.
Oh.
I was trying to give her her dropped phone, but she didn't want it. Eric was
She's
there
like, nah, I
too.
dropped that on purpose.
Yeah, Eric was there too. Dude, I had never went from relief to like, and I wasn't like, I did not mean it in any kind of, I literally was like, oh, you did it for the event. I was so
Like,
excited to
oh,
like,
this makes sense.
yes, no. And she
Oh.
was likely drinking the whole time before. It was drinking after, and she was something.
That's a bad look. You know,
It wasn't-
like just,
yeah.
that's just, I mean, the hair is one thing. I wasn't talking about the hair
I
being
know
a
what you
bad
mean.
look.
Yeah,
I was
the
just talking
drinking.
about being the drunk lady at an event, of
Especially-
which I'm sure I'm going to encounter plenty. I don't even want to know how many people I'm going to have to tell to take their hand out of my beard tonight.
Oh, do you have a social event?
Oh yeah, yeah. So after this, there's the lobster bake, and they bring everybody over. They used to do it on an island up in Maine where their old office was, but now it's at a place down here in Newport.
Wow.
Seeing people in fancy suits put on bibs and eat whole lobsters, it's hilarious. But
Oh yeah.
madness ensues starting around then, and I've learned the trick. There's the dinner, and then there's the after party. And I usually tell people, I used to say like, oh no, I'm not going this and that. I used to get talked into going. So now what I do is when everyone's leaving the dinner, I'm just like, cool, yeah, you guys going over to the after party? All right, cool, yeah, I'll see you over there. And I get in my car and I drive home. And I just Irish goodbye my way out of it. Like I skip past all the one last things and this and this and this. And it's like the feeding frenzy of we get free time with someone that's got things in his brain that we want, but they're too drunk to ask right questions. And then so I stay away from that one.
See,
Jill
yeah,
and I went to one year together,
yeah,
and
we
she
call
got
that the
inappropriately
back door.
groped by all dirty old men at the event.
No, yeah, I call that the back. We backdoor them, and I do the same thing. And it's just like you just sneak out the
Yep.
back door, and you go through. And Brewer says, "Congratulations, you're pregnant." Not pregnant. Kind
Oh
of thing.
yeah, never.
No matter
Nope.
how 9-month obvious it is, men, we don't ever go there. Ever.
Oh, first thing I say too, when it finally comes up and like it's obvious, is like, so she'll be like, oh, but so someone will say something like, when do you do? Blah 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 blah, and just be like, oh, another 2 months. I'd be like, oh, stop it. I wouldn't have even known you were pregnant.
Right. Yep.
Like you say something sarcastically funny and sweet, and you just say, I wouldn't have been able to tell.
And that's
She's like,
perfect.
I have twins in here and I can't walk. And it's like, well, could have fooled me. You look fantastic.
You look great. And Leo says some books can be judged by their covers, it would seem. That is
Yes.
so true. There's a couple of statements that I've never agreed with. One of them, when you're a teacher, you're supposed to tell students there's no such thing as a dumb question. That's a dumb
There
statement.
is.
There's lots
It's a
of
dumb statement.
questions.
And
Yep.
there's plenty of typically championed by dumb people.
100%.
That's, gonna happen.
Or when teachers would say, I don't have favorites. Well, you're a liar. Yes, you do. We all do. We have favorite friends. We have favorite everything's. Like that's just human nature. My favorites, the ones that were respectful, the ones that worked hard, the ones that gave thought-invoking questions, the ones that were kind to others. Those were my favorites. And I was always fine with saying that, And then one where you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, you can get some context clues. You can get a lot of clues.
You sure can.
You should.
You sure can.
Yep, you definitely should.
Are you gonna get down to like the zoom in street view level of who that person is, Google Mapsing their outside appearance? No. Are you at least gonna be able to tell maybe like what county? Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Probably.
And Leo says there's arrogant or insulting questions, and there's dumb ones, right? If I'm going over something and we explain like all of this, if someone were to say, "Hey, so do you think hurricanes are real?" That's a dumb question. Dumb.
Yes.
Dumb. Straight up dumb. Why? Because people our lives are at risk. You don't ask that.
Mhm.
That's dumb. So there definitely are dumb questions. And yes.
And there's
now
tone
this-
deaf questions too, where you're like you're prodding against a question that like you don't want to say an answer to something, but you're like trying to force someone else to.
So
And I think
true.
oh, that's just like, come on, don't be passive aggressive with your questioning.
I don't.
I can be
You and I don't do passive aggressive well with
We do not.
jerks like that.
no.
That doesn't go over well with me and Nick. So
I become very actively aggressive in those
Oh, yeah.
situations pretty quickly.
100%. And Leo, spot on. Covers are literally made to judge the book.
Yeah.
Literally.
Stephen King actually did a whole write-up about that and like why
Really?
he does certain things on the covers of his books.
Thumbnails, right? Judge my video based on the thumbnail. Like when people are like, it's not clickbait. I just like, yes, it is. You're trying to like, yeah. Now
People do it
here's
every day.
not a dumb question. And we'll kind of end on this one, you guys. And it is for me easily the most common question I get about Dr. Nix in the future here. Any news on deodorant?
I've been asked that question 3 times just today.
Same. Same.
This is number 4.
Yeah.
And so I think no, we're so still continuing to make progress. The good news is I will say that there's a formula that I'm there's something that I've been using that has been working. It's in a different form factor than I had originally envisioned.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm using right now is a liquid that comes in a roller ball. However, it's going to easily adopt itself, I think, to a spray. And so oddly enough, our first run at it for things that didn't get chalky, they didn't get sticky, they didn't clump, they didn't have anything in them I don't want. They actually worked. They actually kept down a little bit of sweating on top of smell. And then so it's got all the pieces, right? And I think unless you're doing like an antiperspirant, you actually don't need a solid. And I've always just been stuck on it, and it's like the clays and the arrowroots and other things that are there. And finally, what I've been kind of like working towards and a formula that has been working, it is not viscous at all. It has a probiotic in it. It works. The more you sweat, the more it eats, the more it multiplies, the less stinky you are, and the better protection you have. There's some really cool stuff, I think, that you look at when natural deodorants first started coming out, like really popular like 6 years ago or so, right? Probably like 2018, 19, I guess.
Yeah.
People started really getting into it. It's when Native launched and a bunch of others kind of launched their deal, Jason Momoa got involved, you know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden it's like,
Easy Jill.
Yeah. Calm down. It's not Jake Gyllenhaal. We'll get him.
Right.
Don't worry. Right. We'll get Jake Gyllenhaal, baby. Don't worry.
I confused that. My apologies.
Yeah, no, it's okay. She says that I look, just like Jason Momoa, which I think she's probably right. So when they first started off, I think people were trying to emulate what traditionally had been working in the market for deodorant, which makes sense.
Yeah,
it's been a solid, it's been a stick, and that's where I went first too. And I feel like since all those kind of early entrances into that kind of marketplace and those products, there's been a lot of science that's come out since then. And I don't want to release a product in 2024, 2025 that's based on 2019 technology and science. And things have evolved since we started down this journey. We're totally okay with course correcting and involving those new principles. And like the last thing I want to do is come out with something and then discontinue it and change it because I didn't like something about it. And everyone knows that. But news on it is that I had been in a state last time we did this and talked about deodorant that we were still back and forth between formulas, didn't quite know what form factor yet. Really, nothing was really working the way I wanted it to. Now I have something that works, and we are on the scent. So we're chasing it down, and we've at least cornered the solution, I think.
Awesome. All right, guys.
My Irish Momoa.
Right. It's perfect. Well, we are over time. And next week, guys, we should be back normal time, normal places. It is episode 111. Let's have some fun. Yeah, come on. Who knows? Maybe there's going to be like 3 giveaways, 111, or 3 games or something along those lines, you guys. It's going to be a fun stream.
It's going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah. You can count on some Florida stories, a recap of the hurricane. Hopefully we say, whoo, that was a close one. Everything's all good and a miss. And sincerely, all jokes and silly aside, stay safe out there, Florida. Stay safe, anybody on the path of that. Nick, safe travels. Don't let anybody with too many germs touch your beard tonight. And final words to you, my friend.
Just going to be smacking away hands all night. I just want to touch it. I bet you do. Tell your husband to grow one.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh man, no, this is more. We'll have more stories from tonight, I'm sure. Hopefully some photos emerge and you guys can see those popping up on Instagram. If I get any good content, I will definitely make sure to share it. I have a video that we're releasing of Jill doing a really cool project that involves a flamethrower and propane and wood and burning stuff. And so I'm piecing that together here on my laptop while I'm in between other things this week. And that's going to be a winner. But no, man, episode 111 is going to be a blast. I drove down here straight from the house without making any pit stops. So this screen is going to go black in about 2 seconds as I haul ass over to that bathroom. But man, next week, 111, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 111. It's like a bunch of ones. It's like quad one.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a good one, guys. Okay, well, come over next week for a banger. Wish me luck here. I'll try not to eat too much lobster, and I will hopefully find myself on my way home before it's too late tonight.
All right, guys. Have a great day.